Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Clayton and James show. Don't be concerned. This is not Suj, despite my intro in the podcast yesterday. And no, I don't know why I said my name was Suj either. Hello, Clates.
Hello, mate. You took the words out of my mouth. When you were going to say my name's James, I was going to say, and my name is Suj, because yeah, that cracked me up. I was listening to it and I heard it. I was like, did I just hear that right or wrong? And then I was expecting like a joke to come. Yeah, you know when like Nico does the clips at the start of the pod and stuff. And then I went on Slack and I saw others mentioning it. And what happened?
Well, obviously, Harry was guested. Harry Daniels was a brilliant guest on the podcast yesterday. And I went to press record and I was like, oh shit, I've got to do the intro, haven't I? Oh, it's the main podcast as well. I've got to do it just like Suj. And I nailed it. I nailed it so far. I became Suj.
Do you know what that is? That's karma for when when Tom Campbell was struggling.
But I didn't. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so true. Yeah, Tom would love that. I didn't even realize it wasn't until I went to edit the intro for the audio, and I went, "Why have I said my name's
I'm
Suj?"
surprised Harry didn't say
And
anything either.
I had so many messages from patrons like, "Did James just say he was Suj?" Then Suj messaged me and he was like, "Have I missed the joke?" And I was like, "No, I just cocked it up, boss." I
That
messaged
cat.
Harry and I said, "Harry," and he said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "Why didn't you say anything?" He said, "Well, I thought he was going to do a joke or something like, and you just didn't." So, oh
That
yeah,
cracks me
well,
up.
yeah. This is the Clayton and James show. I'm James. He's Clayton. This week on the Clayton and James show, we've got some breaking news. We're pre-recording on Monday night. We've got some news on Antoine Semenyo. We're going to have a little discussion on a little bit of an international focus. Discuss England against Albania and a remarkable weekend of international football that featured Scotland not making the playoffs, then making the playoffs, then maybe making the World Cup completely. And obviously, this incredible victory and dramatic victory for the Republic of Ireland in Budapest against Hungary, which is a brilliant story for them. We'll finish with a On This Day, which is international themed as well. Euro Focus is not in there. We're going to start with it, except it's not Euro Focus, it's World Focus. Come on in, Clates, what you got for us?
Yeah, so I went to a game which was Atletico Ottawa versus Cavalry in the Canadian Premier League.
Cavalry. Do you mean Calgary?
Oh, is it Calgary? I think it's. I need to
Alberta,
check that.
Calgary, Alberta,
No, it
Calgary.
is. It's
Yeah.
Cavalry FC.
Oh, it is Calvary. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you made me doubt myself there.
It's also not a place in Italy. Yep.
So yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I'm in Canada at the minute, Ottawa specifically. So I was bored, and as I like to do when I'm in foreign, unfamiliar places, I just like to watch live sport. So a few of our patrons are Canadian, and I'd been messaging a couple of them about the baseball that was going on and stuff, and then found out that one of them in particular, I'm sure he won't mind me naming him, Brad, great guy. He's both an Arsenal fan but also lives in Ottawa. So we were planning to meet up and stuff, and then I was asking him of things to do, and he mentioned that there's the Canadian Premier League playoff final, which was between Atletico Ottawa and Cavalry. I was like, oh, great! Like that was just a kind of happy coincidence. So we planned to go for it, book the tickets, and the way the Canadian Premier League works is like it's a league format, and it's like you get. I haven't fully wrapped my head around this. They've got like a league winner that is deemed in air quotes like a shield winner, but then they go
Like the
into
MLS format, kind of.
yes, it's exactly that. It's the MLS format, and then they have a playoff, which I believe is the top five that go into that, and then you kind of have your playoff winner. So this was the playoff final.
Rugby league
Um,
fans will be familiar with that kind of format as well, I think.
okay, I am not a rugby league fan, nor am I an MLS follower, so it was new to me. But anyway, it was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. Book the tickets. They're quite reasonably priced, in my opinion.
Come on, come
And
on, come on, come on. Tell them how much?
it was 40 Canadian dollars, which I think is about 22, 23 British pounds.
Yeah, reasonable.
Which,
Yeah.
mate, I've paid more for like League Two games than that. Anyway, I'm in Canada. It's November. It's fucking cold, mate. It's really cold. And like when I came out to America initially this autumn period, I didn't know I was coming to Canada, so I'm not prepared clothes wise and weather wise. I'm freezing out here. And anyway, we book our tickets the day before the game, and then the morning of, I checked the forecast, and it's forecast for snow. And I'm messaging Brad like, "Tell me you're British without telling me you're British." I was like, I was like, "Is this gonna go ahead?" He was like, "Yeah." Like, and then I kind of got that vibe later on. For anyone that isn't yet aware of what I'm talking about, I think a lot of people will be. There's been a game doing the rounds on the socials, which was this game, Atletico Ottawa versus Cavalry, which was played in extreme snow, where like the goalkeeper
it would
himself
not have been on. It would not have been on here, mate. It would not have been on.
I was mind blown. And like I was recovering from an illness myself, actually, so I was second guessing whether to even bother going. And I was just like, to be honest, I've enjoyed being in Canada, but I've been really, really bored. Like, where I'm staying is a bit in the middle of nowhere. I haven't got a car. Like, I'm staying with people I don't really know. So, like, I've been a bit like socially deprived. So I was like, no, let me go. Like, it's one of the patrons.
You're an Arsenal fan. This feels pretty normal.
In my head, I was like excited about the social interaction, and I was like, it's just a bit of snow, in it. Fucking hell! I wore 6 layers on my upper body, and obviously, for anyone that isn't aware, I've got a fractured hand. So, for anyone watching on YouTube, you can see. So, obviously, wearing
just
gloves.
Matisse Tell was your hero, but okay.
but like wearing gloves is a little bit difficult at the minute, so my hands were freezing. But yeah, anyway, I braved it, went with him, and I had a really good time. But it was so cold. But the experience was so cool. Like even getting there, just little things like asking the question, is this still going to go ahead, and being met by the reaction of like, yeah, of course. Like, it's just normal out there. And just even little things like when so Cavalry went 1-0 up, and when they scored and their bench was celebrating and people were throwing snowballs at them and stuff, it was like little things like that was quite funny.
Are you under shelter?
Pardon?
You under shelter, like
no!
A roof? No, there's no roof, was there?
The worst thing is, so we got in there and we go sit in the seats, and I think we had like 20 minutes until kickoff, and I was really hungry. So I said, I'm just going to go grab up and get myself some poutine, which is a Canadian dish. Do you know what poutine is? I don't know if it's Canadian or French.
I really went poutine. I wonder where you were going with that, mate.
Do you know what it is or no?
No, I'm thinking about a Russian president at this moment.
It's like chips, gravy, and cheese. So it was like perfect for that weather. So I wanted to go get me some of that. I'd say it's the Canadian equivalent to like you want a bovril at the football in the cold weather, but it's more tasty.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, I went and got that and tried to get a hot chocolate, but they ran out of hot drinks. And then anyway, I go back down, and obviously everyone's hood's up, so everyone's head's covered in snow. I was like, I can't fucking find him, so I had to message him and kind of stood on my Todd for a bit. But anyway, went and found him again. And but yeah, to your point, no, there was no shelter. Like the only shelter was if you wanted to go to the concourse to go get food, drink, and stuff. And mate, Brad's from Canada. He's used to this stuff. It got to halftime, and even he was like, "Yeah, let's go." But we didn't stay the whole game.
No
way.
Yeah. Oh, hang on.
I saw the icicle kick.
So, why many of you may have heard or seen images from this game is there was a goal scored that is now known as the icicle kick. It is a bicycle kick on a football pitch that's just completely covered in snow. So you saw that and then still left,
mate. It was.
Well, you really are a fair weather football fan, aren't you? Literally,
mate. Honestly, the fact that he's Canadian and even he was like, "Yeah, we can leave." It was a joke. I don't know. I can't remember temperature-wise what it was, but I feel like when I checked my phone before we left, it was saying like -10, -12. But you know, on the Apple app, it says what the actual feel like is. What the actual weather is, and then what it feels like. And I'm sure it said -21, -22 at some point. And again, I don't have a wardrobe for this weather. Like I was wearing my fucking trainers. So I couldn't. It got to like the 35th minute. I think that was around the time of the goal, actually, because I remember being very happy about the goal because it gave me a reason to stand up and just like wiggle my toes. I couldn't. I'd lost feeling in my toes and
You
my
didn't want to
fingers.
just get up and like stand up if you hate Tottenham. You didn't.
Yeah, Atletico Ottawa. It'd be stand up if you hate Real Madrid. But yeah, anyway, saw that. I've just checked. That was at the 40th minute. Got to halftime. I was like, man, I can't hack this. So yeah, we left. But they won. It was a very cool experience. And standard of the game, like it's always one of the how much do you index on the quality of the football in that weather?
We're
Because
playing on snow, mate.
yeah, but then hear me out. I do believe there are basic things like, regardless of the conditions, seeing what someone's intent is in the sense of like, do they look to just twat it out at the first chance they get, or do they look to take a touch? And there were people unopposed just smacking it out. And I was like, that's not a weather thing. Like, sure, there are others where like the weather, you can't judge them, but there were some players, oh,
I
bloody
mean,
hell.
you're probably not passing back to the goalkeeper, here, are you? In fairness.
No. And the goalkeeper was one that sliced it out a couple times. But the guy that scored that icicle kick, by the way, his name's David Rodriguez. I think he may be within. I think he may be on loan from like Atletico Madrid's kind of network.
Okay.
I need to fact check that.
So
But like,
are they like a feeder club almost, basically?
yeah, I'll touch on that in a bit because I learned quite a lot about that when I was here. And at the game and speaking to Brad and stuff, because I saw that as like Atletico Ottawa, and it was in the car. I asked him, I was like, "Is this a relationship with Atletico Madrid?" And yeah, it is. But what I was just going to say on that Rodriguez, I don't know if he is a pure Atletico Ottawa player or if he's on loan, but he was levels, man. Like even before the bicycle kick, like keep an eye on that name. I think we'll be seeing him somewhere. He was a joke, like even dropping the shoulder, putting people on their ass. Like he was amazing, like really, really good. So yeah, it was a cool experience. Yeah, glad I went. I've never experienced cold like that in my life, like not remotely close.
Only comparables I could think of, and I think that's colder. Um, Prague, went at Valentine's Day, Prague, my first ever European away trip with Tottenham. The stadium was similar, open stadium, athletics track, no roof, wasn't snowing, freezing. Stadium, this was Slavia's old ground, it was like at the top of a mountain. Oh my God, it was blitz, but we was drunk, so it didn't matter. And we played, some of you might remember, we played Rochdale when we was tenanting at Wembley. And I remember my dad messaging me all day. He was like, they are going to postpone it, aren't they? And here's the thing, right? We're moaning about this weather in Canada. As you said, we've got a number of Canadian patrons. They'll laugh at us here, mate.
Oh, for
Uh,
sure.
the wind's blowing, the stadium's not safe, or whatever. Oh, they've got icicle roads, have you? Or play football. It's like the trains don't work. Anything in this country, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's too wet. Whatever it is, trains don't work. Canada, they'll be ploughing through like 10 feet of snow to get the trains still going and stuff. Yeah, that night against Rochdale was freezing cold. We went to, all of you will know where the scoreboards are at Wembley, right? Middle tier, Club Wembley level, back the stand. It's nearly enough the upper tier. I had to go and stand next to the big screen in the middle tier to shelter from the snow. It was insane.
Yeah.
I sent a tweet out, which would have been famous if I had as many followers back in 2018 as I got now, about Tottenham's heat map. It was the four corners were just white snow, but it was the heat map in the middle. Looked good. Yeah, we won 6-1. Couldn't see much unless it was down our end. Different, but I think what you experienced was much cold. That was cold at Wembley that night. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, like I said, excuse me, I've never experienced anything like this in my life in terms of the cold. Like I've gone skiing and stuff before, where you're obviously on the flipping mountain, right? But like you're kind of dressed for it with your kind of thermals and the ski jackets and stuff. Like I think this was the combination of the cold and also me just not being equipped for the weather. And I think if I stayed till full time, I genuinely think I would have got like severely ill. To be honest, like yeah, it was mad.
Well, warm us up. Tell us a bit more about this football club, mate.
Yeah, just a couple things. In terms of how they managed to play the game, it was quite cool actually. They had like volunteers kind of going on and just shoveling snow out. That I think I can't remember if I said this or not already, but the goalkeeper was literally helping to shovel the snow. They got like leaf blowers out to kind of mark the 18-yard box and stuff. So that was all cool. But yeah, in terms of the little bit more, I haven't gone to the lengths that I usually do on like a Euro focus because they're quite a new club. They were founded in January 2020.
Oh wow.
Yeah, very new. So it was part of like the expansion of the Canadian Premier League. So they are owned by Atletico Madrid. And their club colors are they're red, white, and blue. So it literally mirrors Atletico Madrid. Their crest is quite cool. It's got like a combination of a reference to Atletico, but also Ottawa and Canada, where they're based. So like they got the Peace Tower, which is like a silhouette, which is Parliament Hill in Ottawa, which I went and visited, and it's literally the same as like our Parliament in England. So it's quite cool. They've got the red and white stripes, which is kind of Atletico Madrid, and then they've got the maple leaf at the base, which is obviously the Canada thing. So their crest is quite cool, and I think it's nice that they've kind of got a combination of all of their factors that teases into their identity. But in terms of like where and how it started, so obviously January 2020 is when it was kind of officially started. But there's a story that I found in a BBC Sport article where apparently there was a dinner at the Champions League final, excuse me, in Madrid between David Clanacan, who is the Canadian Premier League commissioner, and the CEO of Atletico Madrid. And apparently the David, go for it.
This is the Champions League final I was at.
Yes.
Small world. Yep.
Yeah, you may as well have been in the room. But yeah, that David dude, the commissioner, basically supposedly joked saying like, you're in the capital of Spain, you might as well be in the capital of Canada too. And then yeah, what is that? 9 months later, it's no, a few months later, it's happened. And yeah, apparently, I was curious on like why though. Like it feels a bit random. Ottawa in Canada, and apparently it was like a strategic move to try break into like North America, which was a lower cost and I guess lower risk than the MLS. I've seen this in like the new job I'm in, where like I'm kind of within the North America football world, well, what they call soccer now, and like Canada is a really fast growing market here as well. And obviously there's the 2026 World Cup, so I do think there was like these elements back then as well. Another thing which I think influenced it was the stadium is called TD Place. And Ottawa already had the infrastructure in place. And there was a football team called Ottawa Fury that actually folded in 2019. So I think there was that kind of element as well.
Worked.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and Atletico apparently have like a global model policy as well, where they've got something going on in Mexico, and I think previously I read they had something in India as well. So I think it's something that kind of fit all parties. Yeah, so that's a little bit about them, where they came from and stuff. The stadium, I think the capacity is like 24,000 or so. It's in quite a cool location. It's actually there's a excuse me, there's a canal, I think called the Rideau Canal, or yeah, Rideau.
Did you walk across it?
Fuck no, but got the bus past it, and it was quite cool. It was like Brad was saying, people go ice skating on it and stuff, and that's actually like I'm quite nerdy with. I love being a tourist, and I'm quite adventurous. So, like, I like stuff like this. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so I thought that was quite cool. Yeah, in terms of like a bit about them and like when they got started and stuff. I don't know if you know an ex Atletico Madrid and Valencia striker, Mister.
Yeah, name rings a bell. More from Valencia.
So he was their first manager when they kind of started it up and stuff. And yeah, I recognized the name. So I thought if I recognized it, you definitely would. So I thought that was worth mentioning. Their striker is called Samuel Salte. He was the top scorer in the league this season. And yeah, since they started in 2020, they won in 2022, I think it was. They actually won like the regular season title. They obviously finished second this season, but then went on to win that playoff final against Cavalry. So yeah, that's a bit about Atletico Ottawa. That I'd say that was a top 3 live football experience I've ever had. It was very unique.
All right. I won't ask you for your top 2 because I probably don't want to hear them. I suppose one player you'd like to see in terms of a future world football experience would maybe be Antoine Semenyo.
He would.
News breaking today. Yeah, go on. Just say it. We know he's an Arsenal fan. Go on. Do you want to?
No, I was going to say I would. I just feared that he's going to end up at Liverpool based on what we saw.
Have Liverpool got any money left?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure there was rumors like after Isaac that uh, they
Well, they were
still
still
had.
trying to do Mark Gay, weren't they? So
Yeah, but yeah, go on. Sorry, I interrupted you.
yeah, no, I don't seriously mean I don't think Liverpool haven't got any more money. I do think they do, and we only say it in terms of are you restricted in terms of PSR spending. We know that Liverpool, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur were all definitely interested in Semenyo during the summer window. Manchester City's name's been mentioned. Arsenal's name's been mentioned. Newcastle United's name's been mentioned recently. Pretty much everybody's interested in Antoine Semenyo. And what's changed since the summer is obviously this explosive nature that's now obviously turned into regular attacking returns. It's got that rare quality of physical attributes to go with now the technical attributes as well. He's a very, very good footballer. Really impressed me at White Line in game week 3. Basically unplayable. From an FPL perspective, how he walked out with only a 1 pointer, I have no idea. He was
What
terrific. Give Pedro Porro an absolute nightmare.
what I love about him, which I think is so rare and unique, it's like his ability to both be a player within a team that's transitional, but I can also see him being very comfortable in a team that requires him to be more pocket orientated in tight spaces. Like I think his ability to manipulate the ball in tight spaces as well as drive into acres is quite rare. I don't think you get many wingers that are comfortable in both. I think you get people like a Martinelli that can only do the transition, or the other end of the spectrum that can only deal with tight spaces but don't have the pace, power, and technical to go with that as well. He feels like he's got both. I think he's such a baller.
Also, what's his best side?
His best side.
Yeah,
I still think off the left personally. I know like, I agree with what I think you're going to say. Like you can probably play off both
he
sides, but
definitely can.
I still think off the left suits him best in my opinion.
Me and Neil Grover have touched our Bournemouth correspondent. We touched on that loads of times, and yeah, he's very comfortable on both. He's comfortable striking on both feet. We have had a long running joke about his striking ability in terms of always with power, but when you can strike the ball with power like that, it's understandable that you do, and he has shown elements of finesse creeping more and more into his game. Think about the finish against Fulham. I mean, that's perfect. But he's done this 70-yard dash to finish it off, and he can still put the power in it, but open your foot up inside of your foot. Really nice. The reason his discussion now is broken by David Ornstein on Monday afternoon, there is now a confirmed release clause in this new contract he signed with Bournemouth in the summer. And apparently, this could have been activated in the summer for £70 million. It can now be activated in the January transfer window, we believe, for £65 million. As long as, and we don't know the official date, there has to be some form of notice to Bournemouth. So we think it's probably something like first 10 days or first 2 weeks of the January transfer window, i.e., to give Bournemouth enough time to obviously seek a replacement. If someone slaps the money down on the final day of deadline day, that's not going to work. Bournemouth are probably a little bit powerless here in terms of inevitably players like that from a club like that will move on to bigger clubs. Unfortunately, it's the way of football. That transfer fee, if it's not activated, the release clause in the winter, it's less again next summer. Not confirmed as yet what that less is, but I think most of us could probably sit here right now and go Antoine Semenyo at 65 million is value for money. And that's changed from the 70 million in the summer because now you are seeing real top end stuff.
Do you think he'll end up going in January or the summer?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the vibe that he'd be desperate to get out of there. There was some rumours that went around last week which got quashed. Then this has come out again today. I think ultimately he'll be really ambitious, but he's probably in a position where he can wait for the one he wants. I know the one that he wants. It's Arsenal.
You think?
Yeah. But that's he's done several interviews where he's kind of acknowledged that that's his club and stuff. So, but do you need it urgently with the likes of Madueke's been unavailable, Martinelli unavailable, Saka? You're not sure. Trossard's playing really well at the moment. He's a very different type of player. Do you need it specifically, urgently? Does he therefore wait? What happens if in January, if just Manchester City come to the table, for example? Does he go?
I
I don't
think that
know.
the only way I could see it happening with Arsenal is if no one in January steps forward and kind of triggers all the conditions of the notice period and this and that, and Arsenal facilitate a sale for one of Trossard or Martinelli. That's the only way I see it happening. Would Trossard's doing really well, but I would try and facilitate a sale of one of Trossard or Martinelli personally to make that move for Semenyo happen. Just like
But then
in
to move
terms of
those players on in January could be quite difficult.
yeah, sorry, this was me talking from the summer perspective. I don't see that happening in January, so I only see him potentially coming to Arsenal if we're able to kind of get to the summer and no one's stepped forward, activated it, and we're able to sell one of those two I mentioned.
I think now that this is public knowledge, there might be a few making plans. I actually said that my own club, who were interested and probably wouldn't be top of the shop, and I'd be quite reluctant again for Tottenham to chase a player who clearly wants to play for Arsenal. But I do think Tottenham are probably one of the ones that could get the deal done in January. There's a few that might need, it might be dependent on an outgoing or so because of PSR reasons. Tottenham, we're pretty confident, could just go and get it done. I'd probably prefer Tottenham not to bother, not because I don't want the player, but I know that he would rather go somewhere else.
How
And
much does that
I think the moment's gone. I think the moment's gone.
What moment's gone?
I think the moment's gone for Tottenham. It's not to say Tottenham failed by not going to get him in the summer. I think the moment's gone because he's gone up on a different level to the extent I think he gets at least regular minutes in your team.
Oh, for
Same
sure.
at Man City. He gets in the Liverpool team at the moment. So there's a level above my team at the moment that he could go and join without doubt.
But yeah, that's all I was going to say when, like, because I agree. I think you're probably one of the few teams that could facilitate that in January. And it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's just from his perspective, does he think, like, with respect, he can wait for something better in the summer is the only thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see it with City. I've seen a few people talk about that. Liverpool feels like one I could see. Like I don't.
Well,
I
he
know
goes
they
in the team on the left wing.
yeah,
Clear as day.
it's a no-brainer in my opinion. So unfortunately, my headspace right now is I could see him ending up at Liverpool, to be honest. But then I don't know. Like, are there teams in Europe that will be looking at him as
Just
well?
think from Liverpool's perspective, though, do you not need to fix a few other bits first?
Oh, they do, but we saw in the summer. Do they necessarily plan as they should? Not necessarily.
I mean, if they go and get that done in January, it's like, oh yeah, great, yeah, that's sort of the left wing problem, and it stops you from getting what you really need. Because we think, there's every chance Mark Gay might end up at say Real Madrid now next summer. Like if it stops them getting the right things, a proper succession plan for Van Dijk and Kanate and stuff, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
yours doesn't. Yours is ready to go in terms of your club. And I think what we've seen with Pep recently and Doku, like Semenyo could do all those bits as well in
Oh, for
terms of even in
sure.
the sanctuaries. I even think the one you think probably doesn't fit is United.
Yeah, because
But actually, why could he not play as one of the tens in terms of fitting in them transitions? Bumo played left side forward against Tottenham. There's no reason Semenyo couldn't play that role, mate, in that
yeah,
system.
I think it's like he could do it, but is it maximizing what he can do? Probably not, right? When you kind of it's a little bit square pegs round holes, not quite the extreme of that analogy, but I do think there's a natural fit at like a Liverpool or a Man City or an Arsenal or a Tottenham, whereas the system at Man United is like, yeah, he could do a job, but probably isn't maximizing what he can do.
I think just before we move on to some of the international stuff, lots of chat within our Bournemouth Slack channel today with patrons, and quite a bit of frustration about why is the release clause in there, because really you kind of want the value to be higher than that. I think probably what's happened in defence of Bournemouth, they got ripped apart in the summer in Howson. Howson they knew was probably going to go because he had a similar kind of release clause once Real Madrid are interested game. They didn't really think Zabani was going to go. They obviously knew Kirkes was going to go as well. So they knew their backline was getting ripped. So they probably wanted something that they could keep hold of now. And the one thing Neil's always said to us about Bournemouth is they're not silly. What they want to do is keep advertising to players. If you come to Bournemouth and you do well, it's not going to stop you going to a Liverpool and Arsenal, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain in the cases of the two centre backs, right? So this is going to be another example of a player going to Bournemouth, doing really well, getting a massive move, whether that's January or it's next summer. I think, unfortunately for Bournemouth, it's inevitable, but it's great for them trying to get players in the future,
Yeah, yeah,
defensive and
100%.
attacking players who've now gone there. Built a lad from Bristol City. Apparently, Bristol City, I think Neil was saying Bristol City are entitled to about 10% if it's over a certain amount as well of what they paid. It's 20 million on top of what they paid. So they're going to be looking at a small little chunk of whatever Bournemouth get as well. They're not going to get the true value, but there's good stuff happening for that football club. They're working on the stadium. Club's really well owned now under Bill Foley. They'll be fine.
Yeah, it's going to be a interesting one to see where he ends up. For
In a
sure.
name, in a name, where do you think he goes?
I will say Arsenal in the summer. Yeah, I think we'll sell one of Trossard, Martinelli, and we'll make it happen
I will say Arsenal in January.
in January.
Yeah, I think there's every chance.
Is that you thinking one of Trossard, Martinelli goes in January, or just we bring him in
It's
and
me saying that Man City are going to possibly get closer than you and I thought they might, and that might be a push.
if it means they get closer and we still go on to win it and we get Semenyo, I'm all for it.
What a surprise. Let's talk some international football. Before we talk England, I want to tell you, Clates, I definitely know you won't have listened to the Patreon Q&A that we released on Monday, me and David,
How do you know that?
because I just know. Have you?
No, I haven't.
No, of course you haven't. No. It's Monday night. I didn't think you'd have time. You had a kit between me and you already recording Tut and Arse that will be out available on
Don't say
Patreon
that.
later
My
today.
employer will hear that, James.
Okay, I'll have to delete that. I watched England under 17s on Saturday
Okay.
in the FIFA under 17 World Cup in the last 32 stage. They won 2-0. They have a game against Austria, kicks off 3:45 p.m. UK time on Tuesday. Those games are on ITV4 if you want to catch a bit of that. And there's some talented boys in this England side. Know any of them?
Under 17s. Did Max Dowman play?
No, he's with you, isn't he?
England.
Yeah, but he's England under 70s. But Doman, he's like under 12s, isn't he, or something?
No, he's 15, and I know he's played above his age, so I wasn't sure if he was within that group or not.
He's not in this group, no. There is a former England player's son who stood out quite a lot at the weekend. And no pressure, but David got this immediately.
Former England player's son.
Yeah. He was
Well,
the standout.
I want to say Rooney, but no.
No. Regan Heskey.
Heskey's boy.
Yeah, of Manchester City. Really good player. Played off the left. I said to David, the player actually reminded me a little bit of Izeze.
Interesting.
That really nice ball carrying. He's got like the power to go with it and stuff. He's aesthetically, he's bigger than his teammates, so he does stand out. And I kind of gave a bit of caution to that on our Q&A, but he's the one to watch. Really, really good player. The other one, selfishly, I would like to mention is Luca Williams-Barnett,
Is that a Spurs fella?
who plays for my team. Did briefly appear for us in a recent game in not the Champions League against Copenhagen. Came on against Doncaster in the Carabao Cup and make his debut very briefly, I think. He's a talent as well. He's a 10. He played in and around that area of Heskey. They had nice combinations and kind of like the left half spaces. And the other one I really liked was Bradley Burrows, who played on the right-hand side, who I think's at Aston Villa. So got some nice attacking players in that side. And England underage groups have done really well for a number of years now. Will the full team? Well, Clayton's more confident than myself. The only thing I really wanted to mention about the victory in Albania, which had probably more scary moments, not that it was scary because we're already through, but more scary moments than the rest of the qualifying campaign put together. England became, turn the light on, Clates. England became the first team to keep clean sheets in every game in World Cup qualifying and European competition since Yugoslavia in 1954, Clayton.
Wowza.
And they only had 3 games to qualify, so the 8 is quite impressive. It's now 11 successive competitive victories for England against some truly world-class opposition. Not quite, but still, the 11 victories is very positive. Do you know what England's XGC was across the group stage? Eight
Uh,
games,
yeah,
conceded none.
I I reckon less than one a game. I'm going to go 5 to 6, 5.4.
Nah, that would be a huge overperformance, mate. It was about 2.2 across the 8 games,
Fucking hell.
which is obviously it is very impressive, and it weren't far off half of that on Sunday against Albania. Honestly, there was a period in the second half it looked like Albania could win the game. What I wanted to mention about it was something tactically interesting from Thomas Tuchel again. John Stones moving from centre back into midfield. So we've had a lot with England, and I think it's really identifiable now. This system is 4-1-4-1. It's not Rice in double pivot and going. Rice is like left-sided 8, almost 10. Bellingham's played it to the right in this game rather than Rodgers. Wingers high and wide. It's real 4-1-4-1. The one, as much as we love Adam Wharton, needs to be Elliot Anderson at the moment. As much for defensive stuff, he's so good at winning it back. Yeah, actually, I felt it went up a level when Anderson went on. But what he did in this game was, as I said, he moved Stones into the midfield to join in with Wharton. Now, I don't know if that was a little bit of a concern about Wharton playing that position on his own. Might have been, but then he let Wharton do it on his own towards the start of the second half. He left John Stones at centre back, and then he pushed the two fullbacks really high. Nico O'Reilly from the left-hand side played well again, I thought. And Jarell Quansah did okay doing that role from right back. That's clearly not his game. He's a centre back rather than a right back. But I don't think that will do him any harm in terms of trying to get towards that squad. I would say kind of fourth centre back position for England, if it's to be 4, and it could be 5, is kind of up for grabs between Konsa. After Konsa, Gay, Stones will be free if they're fit. Then the rest of it's up for grabs. Dan Burn played again. I'm not convinced at this level, personally. He did okay on Sunday. But I think good teams with quick players will try and isolate that if he ends up playing left-sided centre-back. I would imagine it wouldn't be often in the tournament. But I also recognise that he's probably very well liked within the group. He comes across as a great human and person. Tuchel has kind of shown a favouritism with that, with the likes of Jordan Henderson, although I think we should acknowledge Jordan Henderson's doing pretty well for Brentford at the moment. He's doing fine now. Yeah, which is interesting that he tried something tactically, didn't like it. He changed it up, switched it up. That had good and bad in it. I think it looked quite exposed on the break at times with those fullbacks so high. But then when he started bringing on a few of the big guns,
I like that.
England looked good once they went in front.
I like that he tried it though. Like, when are you?
Yeah, why not?
When are you going to? If not once you're already you've done the job. You're there. It's the last international break until March. Like, when else are you going to experiment and try things? So yeah, I'm all for it, to be honest. Like, I couldn't have, if we lost against Albania, I couldn't have given a shit, to be honest. I think that's the thing where you try and experiment things that you're thinking could potentially help you in terms of developing different things for the World Cup.
Very quietly, I think going into the Serbia away game, there was a lot of show me something. And that night, England showed, admittedly against a limited opponent, but they showed that all the build up had been to like get that game right. And I think the signs towards next summer beginning to look really positive in the sense the squad feels quite settled. Doesn't feel like there's a big clamour, he's got to be in the squad or he's got to be in the squad. It's almost even an understanding that if Tuchel did prefer Rodgers to Bellingham or Palmer when he's back available, it's like, well, I've seen something here now where maybe the team off ethos is beginning to win out, whereas so often we've played Foden from the left to try and shoehorn things and this, that, and the other. He doesn't feel like Tuchel's going to do that.
Well, he came out and said
Marcus
it, right?
Rashford looks like he's enjoying playing for England again. There's so many positives at the moment. I think of the players not even there. Me and David spoke about this Friday. No, Madueke, Gordon Palmer could be free behind Kane, not even in the squad.
Yeah, and I think I really liked when he came out, and he's just very decisive. Like, even when he came out and said, yeah, Foden, Bellingham, Kane probably can't play together in the system. Like, sure, that may upset people, but I like that we've got a manager that is comfortable and confident to make those uncomfortable decisions. And like, I think, like you said before, we've tried to shoehorn so many people over the years, and I just don't get that feeling with him. I just feel like he will always do what he thinks is best in terms of putting the right players in the right positions and not being worried about what people think about it. And I feel really, really good about our chances. I really like him. I said it from early, right? From his first presser, I kind of developed that joking man crush, but I think it's more. I've got a lot of respect for him as a manager, and I think he's fucking excellent. Yeah.
The Foden Bellingham can't play together, by the way, is a little bit of nonsense.
Oh, is it?
Well, they did it together. They were the two tens pretty much for a 20-minute spell in the second half against Albania. They also came on and finished the game together against Serbia, where it kind of felt like Foden played as the nine for a little bit. There's no reason you would pick either of them, truthfully, over Declan Rice. Got to find a place for Declan Rice in the team. But the idea that it can't, he did it here, mate. And actually,
yeah,
shit improved. That's not a reflection of Declan Rice. I'm just saying it improved in that period of the game, actually. I think also Marcus Rashford going on the left just helped tip England over the line as well. Another 2 goals for Harry Kane,
he's
who
having a
shows
hell of a season. Isn't
no sign of slowing down. I saw a statistic, I think, since qualifying start 2019, I think he's got 40 goals in qualifying games. What a bully. Yeah, but Haaland's got 16 goals just in this qualifying campaign. So it's not that much for a bully, is he? Congratulations to Norway, who obviously through to their first major finals since 98.
Correct, yep.
Which would also be Scotland's first World Cup. They played Norway in that tournament. Scots will remember a Craig Burley equaliser. I watched it. The other half said to me Saturday, she said, "You want to watch some football tonight?" I said, "No, it's not really on." You watched something now, weren't you? And, yeah, sure enough.
She said she wants to watch football.
No, she said, did I?
Oh.
She said, you watch something now? I said, well, yeah, probably. And I watched, obviously, I'd already watched that England under 17s in the afternoon as well. I watched Scotland and Greece. And that was an absolutely enthralling, bonkers football match. It made me want to completely eat my words about how boring and mundane international football is at the moment. This was a thriller.
There's been some crackers this weekend. I know it's coinciding with the final weekend of qualification, but still.
Absolutely wild. So, set the scene for you. Scotland essentially needed a draw to put themselves in a position where they could host Denmark tomorrow night at Hampden Park. If they drew in Greece and beat Denmark, they would qualify for the World Cup. No playoff, straight in as group winners. They got an absolute pasting in the opening half hour. If they'd have been 4 down, they couldn't have complained. They got slapped all over the place. And Greece, I think we knew from we played them in the Nations League last year, they won at Wembley and they thoroughly deserved to win at Wembley. We won 3-0 in Athens. And there were scary moments there till we got the second goal. The scoreline wasn't a fair reflection on the game. They looked like a side that weren't great defensively, but got some really good young players. They had a boy who scored the second goal. I should give a particular shout out to Karisteas. He's only 17. Good player, Clates. Konstantinos Karisteas. He's at Genk in Belgium. 17 years of age, left footer. Played off the right, good player. There'll be top teams looking at him very, very quickly. Anyway, so Greece give them a hiding for half hour, but are only leading 1-0 through this early goal from Bakestas. And suddenly, just before half time, they put a nice little move together, Scotland. McTominay hit the bar. And then straight after that, Che Adams could have scored. And then straight after that, Gannon Doak went through 1-on-1. And took one extra touch. He tried to get it back onto his right foot and should have just hit it with his left. Keeper saved it. Hadn't been in the game. And yet in injury time in the first half, they could have scored 3 times. They come out for the second half. They're all over him, Scotland. Pushing for this equaliser. Denmark are winning. If they don't score, game's irrelevant. Start the second half, Scotland are all over them. The game has just completely flipped. Greece break away. Karisteas scores. And then a few minutes later, Solis makes it 3-0. Craig Gordon should have done better with this long-range shot. But actually, in fairness, Gordon had made some really big saves in that first half to keep Scotland in it. They're 3-0 down. And the commentator goes, so that's the playoffs for Scotland. Quite clearly. He couldn't work out in his mind if he'd ever seen Scotland come back from 3-0 down. I don't know if they ever have. But he was pretty sure at that point that Greece were 3-0 up and that was game over. Scotland had blown the chance to win the group. Greece couldn't catch them, by the way. Greece were already out. They're going into the playoffs. Anyway, as the game restarts, Scotland fly down the pitch. McGinn gets around the left hand side. Brilliant crossing. Gannon Doak is running in. He's got to make contact on the full, smashes it and just clips the bar on its way in. 3-1. At the same point, Belarus have equalised in Copenhagen. 2 minutes later, Belarus score again. Right? You can't make it up. So suddenly, you're looking at it, Scotland don't even need this draw now. So they were in the playoffs 2 minutes ago. They've not done a lot, and now suddenly it's all back on the table. Scotland, I don't know if they know this or not, but we're obviously going all out to try and get this equaliser, get themselves back in it. Ryan Christie scores, make it 3-2. It's 20 minutes to go, and then they're all over the Greeks now. It just couldn't find the goal. Denmark equalised with about 10 minutes to go. So at this point, it's kind of like almost as you were. It still stands, even with Scotland being behind, that if they beat Denmark tomorrow night, they're going to win the group. It was about 9 minutes added time in Denmark. And it really annoyed me because all the Scotland players were on the pitch and they're obviously waiting, like they've all got their phones out and whatever, like, you know, what's happening in Denmark. And they took the cameras off them and went back to the studio. What are you doing? I want to see the Scotland fans going mental in the corner, like, and enjoying themselves.
It's worth saying,
they never showed
down
it.
to 10 men for the final few minutes.
They were, yeah. Besiktas, who'd scored, got a second yellow card.
So
with about 6 minutes to go. It was one chance McTominay had, and the keeper, he's got a foot on it and deflected over. You know who the Greek goalkeeper is?
No.
Vlachodimos. What they say is Vlachodimos.
Oh,
you know,
no,
Vlachodimos Pliers, the famous, that wasn't a PSR transfer between Nottingham Forest and Newcastle, was it? Allegedly. He made some decent saves, actually. Greece, I think, are a team to keep an eye on. If they improve defensively, there'll be a danger for a few teams in the next qualifiers. But Scotland do now have it all in their hands tomorrow night. Don't miss it.
That's going to be a cracking game.
Honestly, get yourself in front of the TV because you know what? It's football that matters. And I think we've forgot that a little bit from an English perspective, that we're in a privileged position where we should regularly qualify with ease. We now regularly do qualify with ease. That wasn't always the case. That Saturday night was enthralling. It's one of the most enjoyable games of football I've watched this season. It wasn't always the best from a quality perspective, but it was like, this matters for Scotland. And I don't have any ill to Scotland or Wales or the two Irish nations. I want these nations to do well and qualify. It's better if they qualify. Always feel that way. And I hope Scotland get the job done tomorrow night. It'd be a great story if they do.
Well, what you're saying about football that matters.
There's every chance they do, by the way. I
sure.
think they do it tomorrow night.
I'm not informed enough in terms of like how the two teams play and stuff, but like it's home advantage, right? Like that for a country like Scotland, that they will have a 12th, 13th man in that stadium for sure. But
yes, as long as it doesn't get too nervy.
Yeah, but just on your point of like football that matters, like every now and then you'll see these clips do the rounds of like, I'm obviously about to reference Troy Parrott and Ireland and the celebrate, and I love football. Like when you see stuff like that, it's the euphoria. Like I was speaking about this with someone else the other day. I was like, other than football, what in my life gives me the ability to experience such extreme emotions? I was like, there's not much I can think of. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
She said to me during the Scotland game, she said, why'd you keep making noises? I'm like, how much chances there are in this game? It's ridiculous. It's only Greece, Scotland. It doesn't matter. I'm enjoying it. It's good football. And it wasn't the best technically all the time.
Is that why your boxers were the other way
around?
I
said to David on the Q&A, I referenced, I don't mind repeating this. I said about Scott McTominay. I was thinking about him in the second half. He's obviously gone to Napoli, done incredibly. Won a Serie A title. He's treated like a hero there, right?
He's got his own pizza named after him.
Yeah. The McTominay, is it? Or is it the Scott?
It's called the McTominay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, for this lad, it might mean more for him. I'm not saying it does, but it might mean more for him just to get Scotland in the World Cup and play in the World Cup. This might be his one chance. And it's so much football, so much about winning the trophies and the glory and what matters at the end. Do you know what? Scotland just getting there. It's Scotland aren't going to win the World Cup. Scottish fans don't think they're going to, they'll sing they're off with Ali's army and all that. They're not going to win the World Cup, but getting there like this, that's the hurdle. And Ireland, yes, on Sunday, Troy Parrott's had like his Lucas Moura night, mate.
Right, that weekend he will never ever forget for the rest of his life because it wasn't just Sunday, right? He did it against Portugal as well, and like
I
unbelievable.
defy anybody. If you haven't seen Troy Parrott's interview with RTE, the Irish channel that obviously covers Ireland, like on the pitch after the game, if you can't feel the emotion in that,
I've not seen it actually. I need to
football's
watch it.
football's not your game.
I'm an emotional bloke, so I reckon I'll probably cry.
Yeah, you would blubber, mate. I reckon
Yeah,
he can't really
I'm a
speak.
bit of a
He
softie.
he he realizes what he's done. I think, was it the airport in Dublin? We're like, yeah, we're going to change the name of the airport to like the Troy Parrott Airport and stuff. That cracking stuff. And I really didn't think they'd go to Budapest and win. Neither did David when we spoke about it on Friday. Again, Hungary's a team we've seen us play.
Yep.
Pain in the arse, man. Hungary beat us, was it twice in the Nations League a few years ago? Decent side with some good players we're familiar with, Dominic Szoboszlai, for example. And they've pulled off this miraculous result. And I was out with the family on Sunday and I saw Parrott equalise 10 minutes ago. And it was like, could they?
Yeah.
I bet it'd be like so glorious, Ireland. You were close. You beat Portugal. You nearly got this result, having put yourself in a stupid position, having lost in Armenia, right? And Armenia had got absolutely slaughtered 9-1 by Portugal on Sunday afternoon without Ronaldo, by the way. And when I saw it come through that they scored, I just thought, oh, that's going to be like an Irish kind of folklore goal that they'll always, always talk about. And there were eerie similarities with like Robbie Keane goal against Germany. It was very similar, that kind of diagonal from left to right, the knockdown from Niall Quinn, Robbie Keane in at the near post when they got that famous equaliser against Germany in 2002. And even more so with Ireland, they've only got in the playoffs. That's all it
I
is.
know, but
They've got to win. They've got to win two more games, and this will obviously be where Scotland end up. Obviously, if they don't beat Denmark as well. It doesn't matter.
no, because they were
It
on the
doesn't
brink of not
matter.
even being in the playoffs, right? So
It
it's
doesn't
just
matter. I think most of us will know Irish people, and I think for probably 10, 15 years or so, there's been real disillusionment with the way that football team and the way the football associations run that football team as well. That it's been going absolutely nowhere. They've not really been close. A few European championships and stuff, but even when they've got there, they've disappointed. A2 haven't. I don't think they've been in the World Cup since '02. And remember in '02 there was Roy Keane and the film that's coming out, Mick McCarthy. But it can't get worse. It can.
it can.
It can. He lost to Spain on penalties in the last 16. They were really unlucky. But it's been a long time since we've felt like that an Irish team could be really competitive, and that will give the people out there some real, real pride. And again, hope that they get the job done and get a good playoff. It's almost a shame now they've got to wait 4 months for
I
it.
know you want to ride
Yeah,
that high immediately, don't you?
to be honest, yeah, they could do with the game tomorrow,
Yeah, for sure.
basically, and get it done. Me and David will cover off on the weekender. The draw is on Thursday. Obviously, the qualifying ends tomorrow night with like Scotland's games and stuff. We'll do the draw and what that looks like on Friday. And David will give his wrap on all the stuff that's been happening around the world, including the Democratic Republic of Congo, the African team in the playoffs. Iraq and UAE. I think now whoever wins that one is possibly seeded and jump straight through a stage in that intercontinental playoff as well. But it's all going to become very, very clear over the next couple of days. Me and David will cover that off on Friday. Good luck to Scotland tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Really hope
lucky Scots.
they do it. And there is a scenario here. If it doesn't go well for Scotland, we could end up with Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Republic of Ireland all in the playoffs.
That'll be carnage.
Wales play North Macedonia tomorrow night or Tuesday night. Sorry, I keep saying tomorrow because it's Monday when we're recording. And there is a little bit of they need to win to finish second in the group. It can impact which pot they go into. So there is still reason for them to try and get a result as well. But yeah, sorry to the Welsh. You've got to watch Scotland Tuesday night, everyone.
Ha.
Before we finish on this day,
What year are we time traveling to?
we're 2009
2009. Okay.
and the Republic of Ireland's last World Cup playoff on
Was this?
this day.
I am I getting my years mixed? This wasn't the handball.
It is.
Oh no, mate! I was in school at the time, and you know where
Why
you
did you
just
big us up just to let us down?
oh yeah,
Because
that's evil of you.
it's the hurt on nights like this for the Irish fans that make that in Budapest matter even more.
I was in school at the time, and you know where you just said a few minutes ago, like we all know Irish people. There's a lot of Irish people in North London, and had a lot of them in school, and like there were Arsenal fans that are Irish that were like, how do I feel about Thierry Henry the next day, sort of thing. So yeah, take it away.
Okay, paint the scene. 16 years ago today, Republic of Ireland go to Paris. This is a two-legged playoff to qualify for the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. France have won 1-0 in Dublin. Heavy favourites to obviously see off the time. Ireland, however, put on a very good and more than a resolute display. Robbie Keane gives them the opening goal in the 33rd minute to draw the tie level. And they had chances to finish it off. I don't know if away goals was involved, but I suspect it probably would have been at the time. And had Ireland got a second, I presume, had it finished 2-1, they would have won on away goals. I think, don't quote me on that. Damien Duff had a one-on-one saved in the second half from a very young baby-face looking Hugo Lloris. And Robbie Keane also had a one-on-one opportunity. He just took a little bit of a heavy touch when he tried to go round Lloris towards the end of normal time. The game went to extra time and then had this very famous moment where towards the end of the first half of extra time, with the score still level and kind of just over circa 15 minutes away from penalties, France take a direct free kick into the box. It evades everyone. It's going out for a goal kick. Oh shit, I don't know what happened there. William Gallas has scored. What happened is the ball was going beyond Paul McShane, who I think was trying to see it out, but was aware that Thierry Henry was coming behind him. Henry came round on the blind side, quick as a flash as he was, controls it with one arm, practically catches it with the same arm, practically scoops it across to his feet with the same arm, and squares it all in one movement. And William Gallas heads it in pretty much on the line. And you know in the moment you've seen it, something's not right. If you ever watch it back, watch the reaction of the France players. They're almost looking for an acknowledgement from the referee that it's okay. I have to say, when you watch it back, no matter what angle you see it from, until you see the angle that's really close behind the goal, it's never clear. Once you see it, you're like, oh my God, he's practically caught it. He literally blocks it with his arm and almost lets it roll down his arm and then just drops it onto his foot to square the ball. So it's not just a handball. He's nearly practically caught it. Arguably the second most famous handball in football history. Irish fans will probably tell you the most. And essentially, it was cheated. They were cheated out of it. But it's not cheating because the referee didn't get it, I'm afraid to say. What I also didn't remember was there's a case to say France could have had a penalty just before as well for a potential foul on Nicholas Anelka by Shay Given. It's not a stonewaller, but if it had been given, it had been given and it wasn't given. But yeah, it's an awful one to look back on. I have to say, I think the reaction to Henry was a little bit over the top. I knew as well, same. Arsenal Irish fans were like, I'd never think about him the same way. And I think, he's your best ever player.
I know, but for some people,
I don't really get this.
People are different, right? For some people,
yeah,
country over club. For others, club over country. So, like, it's especially I think countries like Ireland, Scotland, they're so patriotic, like a ridiculous level. I'd say a lot more than English, to be honest.
I don't disagree with that, but I also acknowledge that there will be English people listen to this who are just as patriotic.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But I would say yes. The probably the average Irishman or Scotsman is probably more patriotic about their country than probably I am. Yeah, I don't argue that.
Yeah, but I need to rewatch it because I like you described. I saw it.
It's not till you
And,
see a replay, like on the first angle, you can't tell. It's
yeah, but
so quick.
I've not rewatched that for years. Like it just hasn't, for whatever reason, come up in my algorithms or been in any group chats. So I haven't seen that specific incident for years. So yeah, I'm gonna. You usually whack the highlights in the description, right? I'm gonna slap that on.
There's an interview with Henri. I don't know why it happened, but it's not like one of them formal ones where the mic's in his face after a game, but he's obviously in like the press area or something, and he's getting asked like, it's like, yeah, I handballed it, but I didn't cheat. And I think it's oh, I don't know, like, is it cheating?
I didn't cheat on it.
Like,
I
is
got
it any
caught.
different to like deliberately? If someone deliberately fouls someone and gets away with it, is that cheating?
Say that again, sorry.
If you foul someone deliberately and a referee doesn't give it, is that cheating?
No, it's a foul, but it's like cheat. Handball is cheating, like because
What
it's
I
not.
kind what
It's
what I
not a
kind
normal
of
foul, is it?
what I kind of admire about it is the fact that he doesn't piss about the celebration. There was one recently, I can't remember who it was, and he was thinking, celebrate. Like, don't make it obvious to VAR that something's not right. Like, celebrate. And obviously, VAR didn't exist at this time. And Henri goes, he really goes for it, right? He's off, he's chasing Gallus, he's giving it the proper full celebration. No doubt. Henri don't look over his shoulder or nothing. He's just gone. You think, okay, fair enough. I also saw another piece on him he did on a podcast where he said like, I'm not proud of it, but like something happened in a split second, and I wanted my country to qualify as well, right?
And
So
that's the thing. To be fair,
imagine the
like
failure for France not to qualify in that moment.
I
By the
know
way, they were shocking in South Africa. Probably better off that they hadn't, but
it is one of them though. Like if the referees pick it up, it's a non-conversation. Not a non-conversation, but like people will be like, "Oh yeah, he cheated, but he got caught." But I think it's the extreme because he got away with it, sort of thing. Which is like, what was it? Suarez against who did he do that against? Was it
against
Ghana?
Ghana,
Yeah,
that was always one that people called Suarez a cheat. Suarez didn't even get away with it. He handballed it on the line. The
I
referee gave a
know. But
penalty,
that's what I was gonna say. Like you get examples like that where you get caught and it's like you get your due punishment. But I think it's the ones
and
where
he
you
was sent
don't.
off. Obviously,
That's what I mean by saying he gets his punishment. Like, uh, but the ones where you get away with it, it's like it should be on the referee to pick it up. As harsh as that is.
I never really under the Suarez one. Suarez got a load of stick as well, and there's plenty of things you can give Luis Suarez stick for. I'm not going to give him stick for that one. It's the last minute of like extra time of a World Cup quarter final. If you let this go beyond you, mate, you're
Mate,
out.
I have said for many
Handball it.
years I would do the same in a heartbeat.
Yeah, without a
In
doubt.
a
Without a
heartbeat.
doubt.
I'm the same. I've never really understood the it's the outcome, right? Because the pen then got saved, but it's like he
No, he
got his
missed
punishment.
Jan. Hit the bar.
Sorry, hit the bar. But yeah, he got his punishment. I think the Henri with the Ireland one is the fact that he got away with it, right? So
Yeah, and it's where goals like this, which I of course know that this is a legit massive injustice that happened. I haven't got a leg to stand on when I say I don't want VAR. When you look at goals like that, you can't, because
I feel bad laughing
you know
about
that
it.
there's no
It's
way
just
that VAR doesn't. It's indisputable.
yeah. I can't comprehend how I would feel if that was against England or Arsenal in a
Well,
capacity.
neither you or I aren't old enough, but people do remember Maradona
Yeah, but
'86, right?
that's
So
why I wouldn't know what that felt like for me personally to live through it. But like I guess your dad probably has his own
could
opinion.
you have imagined what it must have been like in '86 when Maradona scores that goal with his hand? You're like, cheat, cheat, cheat. And then 5 minutes later, he beats the old team and scores the greatest goal of all time. You go, okay,
Yeah, fair enough.
fair enough, mate.
That is
Yeah,
the sort of thing you'd see in a pub in England. Like literally the reply. Yeah, fair enough. 5 minutes later.
just before we move on, shout out for these lineups. A few names you might remember. There's a lot of Arsenal players involved here, by the way, Clates. Obviously, Hugo Lloris of Tottenham was at Lyon at the time. I think he would have been at Lyon. He looks so young, Hugo Lloris. Was in goal for France. Bakary Sagna.
What a player.
William Gallas. I don't remember Escude, who played centre back from France. No memory of him at all, I must be
Me
honest.
either.
Was replaced by a certain Mr. Scilacci
Ha!
9 minutes
Jesus.
into the game. Yeah, they weren't that great, France. Patrice Evra, the Diarras, Alou, and obviously Lasana, who also played for Arsenal. You'll remember Johan Gourcuff, I think.
Yep.
Just remember Gignac, Jean-Pierre Gignac, I
Yeah, yeah.
think, played up front.
Big man.
Anelka and Omri, obviously. Sydney Govu came on as a substitute, missed a
Their
sitter in the 120th minute, by the way.
their front three was Gignac, Anelka, and Henri. It's quite a lopsided, like,
I
narrow.
think they were pretty lopsided they were very much under pressure under Raymond dementia. I mean, it all blew up before they'd even started playing in South
Yeah.
Africa with like infighting and stuff. The Republic of Ireland team, Shay Given, John O'Shea, who missed a brilliant chance at the start of the second half with a doubled Ireland's lead. St. Ledger, Richard Dunn, Kevin Kilban, Lawrence, what was his first name? I can't remember. He played for Sunderland. I've forgotten his first name now. Glenn Whelan at Stoke. Current Premier League manager, Keith Andrews.
Oh, wow.
Damien Duff. Tommy Doyle. Robbie Keane, of course. Darren Gibson was a substitute. It was used. Paul McShane and Aidan McGeady. A very tricky wide player. That is on this day from 2009. Hopefully, Ireland have better luck in the playoffs this time round. They cannot meet France. They are qualified.
Yeah, I hope so. Like you, I always want the likes of Wales, Scotland, Ireland to make it as well. So yeah,
Absolutely.
good luck to them. And yeah, I'm glad they had that night. That was unreal. That was so cool.
Yeah, to take it. Here's the weird thing, and I did mention the kind of Troy Parrott's Lucas Moura moment. It's not to suggest that Troy Parrott's career won't now go on an upwards trajectory. I really hope it does. And me and David spoke about him a lot on Friday. But it was so hard for Tottenham in that Champions League final after the high of the Ajax night. It was like, I told you, I went to the final. I didn't even think that the semi could be beaten. And it might be similar for this. So maybe in that sense, the not going again so soon might actually be beneficial. Right? Enjoy this for a few months, then get the mind ready for what happens in March. Cheers, Clates. Thank you, mate.
Lovely stuff. Gracias.
Good stuff. Ask James tomorrow on Thursday. The weekender is on Thursday this week with myself and David. As said, we'll have a wrap up of more World Cup stuff on there. Clash of Correspondence Friday is Brighton versus Brentford with Sam Murray and Tom Med. If you want a bit of a North London derby preview, may I recommend Tot and Arse, which will be out later today. www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. That's available from intermediate plus tier. Clayton thinks that if Victor Gyökeres isn't fit, Arsenal might not win.
Listen to find out why.
You know that I don't agree with him. As always, everyone, smash a like, hit the sub button. Audio listeners, a 5-star review goes a really long way. Please be nice to each other. Cue music, please, man child.